Good morning, grade 5s, and welcome to our geography lesson. In my last lesson, I spoke about cloud cover as a weather element, and I said there were different words that you could use to describe the cloud cover. We said you could use words or phrases like it's clear, okay? It's clear skies, which means that there's no cloud cover at all. You can also use phrases like partly cloudy, which means that half or less than half of the sky is covered in cloud. You can also use words like overcast to show that there is no sun at all. It is completely covered in cloud. So today we are moving on to yet another weather element, and today we're going to be concentrating on wind. Wind is a weather element. Wind is the natural movement of air. So as long as there's movement of air, we call that wind. So it doesn't matter at what speed it's traveling at, but as long as the wind is moving or the air is moving, then we call that wind. Okay? When the wind blows fast, it moves things about. We use the following words to describe the wind speed. We say it is calm, or there's a breeze, or there's very strong wind, or there's a gale. Okay, so those are some of the words that we use to describe the strength of the wind. I have actually tabulated it for you here on this slide. So what is happening here is that if we describe a day as being calm, we are saying there is no wind at all. It is still. Alright? Then we have days where there's a slight breeze or there's a gentle breeze. We are saying there's a slight movement of wind, and we can actually feel the wind on our faces. There is that slight movement of trees and the leaves. Then we also talk about strong winds. When we talk about strong winds, we are talking about those winds that make it difficult for you to keep an umbrella in place. So you open your umbrella and it's blown in all directions, and it's actually not wise to open an umbrella. This is when all our umbrellas get broken, when we have strong winds. And then if you look at the branches on that particular day where there's a strong wind, the branches and the leaves are moving in all directions. Alright. And then we have what we call the gale winds, which is sometimes referred to as the gale force winds. These are very, very strong winds. They break the branches and they move the rooftops, and at times it becomes even difficult to walk in such conditions. Those of you who've been to Cape Town during winter, you'll agree with me that at times it's even difficult to walk on the street. You can actually feel this wind pushing you to the side, and if you're not strong enough, you're pushed off the road because of these strong winds. Okay, so today we're also going to look at the wind direction. And we did talk about the compass points in the first term, and we said that the compass points give us direction. Alright, so in wind direction we have this is a compass direction which indicates where the wind is blowing from. It's very important that you keep that in mind. So when we look at the wind direction, we are actually saying where is our wind blowing from. We always name the wind from the direction it is coming from. Okay? Not where it's going to, but where it's coming from. So we name our wind from the direction it is coming from. In the first term, we looked at our 8 compass points. I'm sure you guys still remember these compass points. And we are going to be using these compass points to name the different direction in which the wind is coming from. Remember when we say that our wind is a northerly wind, we are saying we are naming this wind from the direction it is coming from. Okay, so if it's a northerly wind, there is our north. So if it's a northerly wind, which means that we are going to name this wind in the direction it is coming from. Okay, so we will put our arrow there. All right, so if we had, it's a northerly direction. All right, so we are naming it northerly wind because it's coming from the north. So if we had to represent this northerly direction diagrammatically, then it would look like that. All right, so a northerly direction is the direction in which the wind is coming from. So this wind here is a northerly direction because it's coming from this side going southwards. Okay, so here we have it, northerly direction. We put our arrow there. So if our arrow is facing down and going towards the south, we call that a northerly wind. Okay, the next one is a easterly wind. Easterly wind means it's coming from the east. So there is our east. Where do we put our arrow? Do we put our arrow this way or do we put our arrow that way? Remember, we name it from the direction it is coming from. So we are saying it's an easterly wind coming from the east, coming from the east. Do we put our arrow this way or our arrow that way? Remember, we name the direction of the wind from where it is coming from. We name the wind from where it is coming from. Okay, so yes, those of you who said that, that's the correct answer because it's coming from this side, yeah? And this side is our eastern side and it's going towards the west. So this is an easterly wind. Then let's look at that one, the northwesterly wind. Northwest is here, okay? We name our wind from where it is coming from. So our westerly wind is coming from northwest and it's going that way. So which direction or where are we going to put the arrow? Are we going to put the arrow here or are we going to put the arrow there? So draw your northwesterly wind before I show it to you. Okay. So if you drew something like that, then you are correct. Alright, so we need to understand that our wind direction is always named from where it is coming from. Okay, you name the wind from where it is coming from. Alright, then we've got a little activity here. There is our southeasterly wind. Alright, so remember we always name them from where they are coming from. So if we had to put our compass points here, alright, that will be our east. Alright, we've got it here. So they are saying this is a southeasterly wind. Southeasterly wind going that way. Yes? Alright, there is your southeast. So that's a southeasterly wind there. And then let's look at this one. We put our compass points here and they are telling us that this is a northeasterly wind. Do we have northeast on this side? Yes, so northeast coming this way and that's a northeasterly wind. There is another one here. Put your compass points at the end of the arrow. Is this blowing from southwest? Yes, that's why it's called a southwesterly wind and it's blowing that way. Alright. Then we have two instruments that we use to measure wind direction. And these two instruments are the wind vane and the windsock. The wind vane measures, it has an arrow. It looks like that. It has an arrow and that arrow shows where the wind is coming from. Okay, so the wind vane shows you where the wind is coming from, and then the windsock tells you where the wind is blowing to. Alright, so this one tells you where the wind is coming from. That one tells you where the wind is blowing to. And it's just a piece of cloth or something that's made out of some special material. And when there's wind, the wind blows into this material and it stands up like that, pointing to where the wind is going to. And if it's a calm day and there's no wind at all, the sock drops like that. Alright, so you can actually tell from afar whether there is wind or no wind. And if the sock is down like that, it means there's no wind at all. And when it's blowing into a certain direction, then we know where the wind is blowing to. Whereas with the wind vane shows you where the wind is coming from. Okay, please familiarize yourselves with these two instruments. They are very important. You must know which one shows you where the wind is coming from and which one shows you where the wind is blowing to. Alright, I've got slide, this slide and the next slide. This is an activity that you must do, and I want you to test your understanding on wind direction. Write the direction for each of the following. Is this a northeasterly direction? Is it a west-easterly direction? Remember, we name our winds from where they are coming from. Where they are coming from. So we put our compass points there by the tip of the arrow, and then you should be in a position to tell me where this wind is coming from. Alright, fine. And then the last one, slide is asking you to draw. Okay, so I've given you the words now. I want you in front of that word, draw an arrow to show me how this direction would look like on a map. Alright, northwesterly direction. How would you draw an arrow to show that the wind is a northwesterly wind? Always remember that we name our winds from where the winds are coming from, where the winds originate. I hope that makes sense. Enjoy the rest of the day.